Here are the I don't work here lady stories for today's video, but before we start, here is the top comment for today's video. Thanks for the support. Without further ado, here we go. Team Rocket is here to make your day. So a little backstory. Right this weekend, starting yesterday on Friday the 20th of our Lord 2019, there's this event being held by Nintendo Niantic for Pokemon Go. Yes, people still love it, go figure, right? It's the Pokemon Safari. You buy yourself a ticket, enter a set route by the event holders, and basically go to town for 6 whole hours with an upped shiny rate. I mean, by the end of the day, my friend who I was accompanying wound up with 12 brand new shinies and several other Pokemons. Since my phone decided it no longer wanted to support Pokemon Go, I didn't bother buying myself a ticket for the safari. However, since my friend was visiting from the States, I'm Canadian by the way, to come and enjoy this event, I wanted to accompany him at least 1 hour on the route because apparently any normal people can show up. You just won't have the special catch rates or goodies and rock around in the safari route. So being unable to play Pokemon Go, to have my own kind of fun, I dressed up in cosplay. Now, I hadn't touched Pokemon Go in a long time, so I only recently heard that Team Rocket has been added as a part of the game. So I decided to dress up as a Team Rocket grunt. My boyfriend also decided he wanted to dress up with me for solidarity and went as a Rocket admin. The day was great, the sun was out, and the minute I stepped out of the subway station that dropped us right on the island for the event, we were assailed with the Pokemon Go main theme and messages in both French and English telling us where to go. 3 colorful banners were waving in the wind majestically, each stamped with a symbol of individual teams of Mystic, Valor, and Instinct. And there ahead stood an archway signaling the first steps into the event. It was all glorious and pumped me even more despite me having no phone in hand to play. However, this is probably how and why people were confused as we walked in, strutting our stuff. While I am by no means a professional, when I cosplay I do my best to act the character. My standards are about the same level as any actor you'll find dressed up in Disneyland World. I will do whatever I can to not break the illusion. People who knew and understood the whole cosplay scene complimented me and my boyfriend for appearing in full cosplay, for those who were just there for the event. Now, apparently, there are now rocket stops in Pokemon Go, and every time my friend from the States needed to stop, we were nearly always stopped at a rocket stop. And me being used to people staring was right front and center, playing with a prop Pokeball I brought along. People were whispering to each other, mainly mother pushing the prams, wondering if they could approach, and words of "does she work for the event?" could be heard upon the wind. And rather than verbally answering to any of those whispers, I merely raised my eyes, met their gazes and waved, which caused most of them to scatter and hurry along. I didn't mind this, just giving them all this unreadable smile that could either just be some innocent thing or, if you get near me, I'm going to steal your Pokemon. The braver ones were the younglings, actually coming within arm's length before scurrying off to their mother's leg. So close, so far. But when I met their gazes, they smiled shyly and hid their faces. There were of course the fearless photographers who took notice of me and asked me for photos, either as selfies, pictures of friends standing next to me, or even short video of me challenging thrusting my Pokeball forward at the lens. It was a good time, and if people wanted photos, I was always happy to pose, answer questions in character. Even scare off a few kids, hearing them laugh and shriek as they ran away from Team Rocket. All the while, people were thinking I worked for the event venue. I was always happy and ready to make someone's day a little brighter through cosplay. No matter if I worked for the venue or not, I personally did not want to ruin anyone's fun, and I was having fun myself. Now, the one meeting that stood out to me the most was this one young girl who approached my boyfriend and I while we took yet another break stop after 30 minutes of walking. This time at a spot where you could take selfies with standees of the Go team leaders. As usual, people asked for photos of their kids posing with me and my boyfriend. This girl stood at the back of a small crowd around us, and when they got their photos and started to disperse, she stood there as if she really wanted to come, but was too shy. After getting a good look at her, I had a feeling this was not going to be a normal encounter, especially with her mother hovering behind her. So, like in every other situation when someone was too shy to come, I was extra cheerful and friendly when I looked over at this girl. waved her to come over and say hi to me. The kid on the spectrum and I could tell all the stimulation of the day was getting to her. But she seemed excited too, happy, and her eyes lit up as I met them and gestured her to come to talk to us. And she did, and oh, my heart burst from how cute she was. Talking about her day, was going during the safari. Her eyes were sparkling and bright as she rambled about the Pokemon she caught and how she loved it. I asked her some questions, the usual stuff about Pokemon, you know, just simple, easy things anyone can talk about, and with no rush to my voice or anything. Just a smile, keeping eye contact, and generally being chipper, despite being a dumb and walking around prior to the recent stop for 1 hour already in heels, in heat, while wearing all black. For her, I knew this would be a highlight, if not the highlight of her day, to see something from this magical virtual world sorta come to life. I don't know her, I don't know her background, but the moment she smiled, it clicked into my head, as it always does, to make this an experience for her as any Disney princess would at Disney World. It ain't no Disney princess obviously, but I got standards and a simple stance on the world. If you can make someone's days brighter, just do it. It honestly made me pleased as Peach to do it, and it definitely seemed to make her happy. We got a picture together, she thanked us, and her mom came to talk to us a bit while the kid went around to catch a few more Pokemons. She asked us some questions, other people too came up to talk to us, but you all know the main question here, which had come up several times during the day. Of course, my answer was, oh, I don't work here, but I never mind making other people's experience a little happier and fun. To which she looked so surprised, as did others, but I just shrugged and smiled. I have fun, they have fun, so it's all harmless fun, isn't it? The rest of the time was generally the same. More walking, more stops, more photos, more of me doing ridiculous things to make people smile and laugh, and me having dead feet after 3 hours of walking in high heels. Cosplay is suffering. But yeah, that was the main incident that stuck with me yesterday. I hope she caught herself a lot of shiny Pokemon and is having a rocking time. And anyone from here attending. I hope you guys have a great old time too. Thanks for reading and sorry for the length. I hope you enjoy your day and that this little story maybe lifts your spirits a little. I don't work here anymore. Figure it out yourself or call a store with a competent manager. Once upon a time, way back in the days of yore, I was a young lad seeking my first legitimate employment after high school. Seeing as I had only just recently turned 17, early graduate by 2 years, and lived in a rural area, a lot of options were close to me. Sure, I could work under the table like I always had before, but it was time to start working a real job. So I hopped in my hand-me-down vehicle, drove the 48 minutes into town, and started putting in job applications. One of the places I applied was an arcade. For those of you born after 1995, this was an establishment where you found video games, skee-ball, and games of skill and chance which you could play for a fee. An example can be seen in Season 2 of Stranger Things. I was hired at the arcade by a manager who was about to leave his role as manager to take a better paying job working in a parts manufacturing plant, who had trained his replacement to take over for him. Cool, except right after he leaves, replacement gets arrested for simple possession. Ends up losing his job as well, no store manager. Area manager comes in, sees our staff, it's basically me, a young woman who consistently shows up late and does the bare minimum. And a stoner friend of our former replacement manager. After what happened with him, area manager decides he needs to replace the manager with someone else and brings us up to full staff, 6-7 people basically. But in the interim, we'll fill in for the manager duties he can, but needs someone to handle the daily manager duties. He can't because he's responsible for a bunch of different stores and corporate stuff. Long story short, I get a crash course in managerial training with what I even then knew was a laughable excuse for a pay raise in compensation. No real authority or position in exchange for a bunch of responsibility. Time passes, his first candidate to take over the store is a train wreck. He gets a replacement manager by promoting the fully trained assistant store manager, hereafter ASM, of another store on the condition that they get a replacement, cue my transfer. New store has a kick-ass manager. She promotes the younger sister of her former ASM to be her new ASM. Didn't bother me. The company had a policy against letting people under 18 take management roles, and I didn't want it anyway. After my experience, I was looking forward to less stress and responsibility. New store manager leaves the store when her husband, Air Force, gets transferred to a new duty station. ASM is now store manager, doesn't name a new ASM. ASM dislikes me. I spent months working there. I sell birthday party package, something the company wants us to do as much as possible, but that hadn't been done at that store in the entire time ASM had been working there. And apparently no one but me, because we did it all the time at the other store, knew how to do it. One morning before opening, I'm going through the opening procedures when ASM and area manager are there. Things come to a head. Area manager is there because store is losing money. ASM accuses me of stealing from the store. I turn to the area manager and give my 2 verbal weeks notice on the spot. Say that I am not a thief and refuse to work with someone like ASM after they've accused me of it. Fast forward 2 weeks and one day, the day of the birthday party that I'm the only one at the store who knows our procedures for. I get a phone call asking if I'll come in and work it. I don't work there, remember? Well, can you at least tell us how we are supposed to do this? Try calling another store, one with a competent manager, for advice. I'm not obliged to help you since I do not work there anymore. She started to raise her voice, but I hung up and didn't answer her callback. Brown skin plus orange bikini is poolside attendant. This happened a couple months ago on a vacation to a popular US sunny destination. I was with my partner's family. They are white and I am a brown-skinned Latin American woman. English is my second language, but I am fluent in both. We were staying in their timeshare resort, first couple of hours since arrival. My mother-in-law and I had just enjoyed a couple of delicious cocktails, and we, mother-in-law, father-in-law, partner, and I had decided to head down to the hot tub after the sun had set. I was wearing a highlighter orange bikini with a black fishnet-looking cover-up and bare feet, flip-flops in a tote bag, my hair up in a clip. I looked flushed and a little sunburned, no makeup on. We settled in a hot tub, but I felt a little too warm after a while, so I got out to explore. I was walking around the pool and looked out of a balcony onto the pool and hot tub below. Then was about to lap around and back into the hot tub when an older man, OM, sitting on a pool chair started speaking to me. OM mumbles something, but I cannot hear him because the wind is in my face and he's speaking quietly. Excuse me? OM, just sitting here for a little, not swimming, just hanging out. I won't make trouble. Me thinking the guy is being flirty or friendly, laughs, tries to turn around to the safety of my family. Sounds good. OM, so is it okay? Can I sit here? Me, still not understanding but thinking the guy is being weird and feeling uncomfortable. Sure, you go ahead and enjoy. OM, just let me know when I have to go. I'll be good and listen. Me, terrified. This guy now wants me to do something to him? Starts backing away and hoping my family is looking my way. Of course, perfect timing for my father-in-law and partner to take off to unknown parts, leaving mother-in-law alone and facing away from me. Smile nervously. Suddenly, it dawns on me. Me, wait, do you think I work here? OM looks puzzled. Yeah, don't you? I looked around quickly and it dawns on me that I'm the only non-white guest in the area and all the attendants and lifeguards are black or brown people. I tend to be pretty perceptive of where I am, but as I mentioned, I was with family, had drank a few cocktails and felt safe near my partner, so I didn't take my usual care to notice the environment. OM continues to go on about, you look like you work here, etc. Me looks down at the above mentioned outfit, pointedly looks at the lifeguard dressed in bright red shorts and white t-shirt. No, I'm on vacation with my in-laws. OM, well, you just have an air of authority. Turning redder and continuing to backpedal. Can't remember what he said, but he was clearly embarrassed. Me, okay. Turns around and hurries back for mother-in-law, who hasn't even noticed anything happened. I tell her the story, we laugh it off, and from that moment till checkout, I avoided wandering around by myself. So those were the stories for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, a like will be highly appreciated. It really does help my channel out. Also, if you enjoyed this and want to stay up to date on the latest videos, then don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for listening, and I will see you in the next video.